David Benavidez delivered a brutal beatdown to stop my guy Anthony Yarde in the 7th round. That fight was not competitive at all. Now, if you watched my fight breakdown, I did predict Anthony Yarde to stop David Benavidez in the 8th round. That was my prediction. I got it totally wrong. And I put my hands up. I have to eat humble pie. I was wrong. Shout out to everyone in the comments who got their prediction correctly. Do you know what I mean? If you predicted David Benavidez to win, shout out to you, man. You got me on this one. But when I was reviewing this fight, when I was doing my analysis, fight breakdown, I saw some flaws in David Benavidez. Yeah, you can go watch my fight breakdown. The video is on my channel. I saw flaws that Anthony Yarde can exploit and be very successful in that fight. However, Yarde just showed no tactical awareness in that fight. It was as if there was no game plan in that fight for Anthony Yarde. You know, from round 2, his eyes already lit up. It's as if he didn't know about the pressure that David Benavidez brings to the fight. David Benavidez, we already know, like, you don't need to be an expert in boxing. You don't need to be an elite coach. You don't need to be an ex-pro fighter for you to know that David Benavidez brings the pressure in every single fight. He's a pressure fighter. He comes forward, he backs you up onto the ropes, and he will unleash 100 punches. That's what Benavidez does. But Anthony Yarde, to my surprise, he looked surprised at what David Benavidez was doing in that ring, which goes back to the coach, Tunde. Where was the tactics for this fight? What was the game plan? By the way, that's my question. Did anyone notice any game plan in Anthony Yarde yesterday? Was there game plan? What was the tactics? Let me know in the comments, because I did not see anything. The only thing I heard, the only instruction I heard Tunde give to Anthony Yarde in between the rounds was him saying to Anthony Yarde, "You're a lion. You are a lion." I mean, that is not tactics, man. That's just a bit of encouragement to maybe just, you know, let your fighter know that, listen, you can do this. You're a survivor. You know, don't give up. Go out on your shield. That's what that says to me. But there was no tactical guidance or instructions or any adjustments made by the coach. Like, you know, utilize your jab more. You know, believe in your right hand. Do you know what I mean? Stop backing up onto the ropes. I didn't really hear any of that. Maybe I missed it. If you heard it, please let me know in the comments, because I did not hear it. The game plan was totally wrong from Anthony Yarde, if there was a game plan. Because to me, watching that fight, there was no game plan at all. In my fight breakdown, I said, Anthony Yarde, do not let yourself get backed onto the ropes, especially early on, because you're just going to exhaust yourself. If you want to save some energy, you have to keep Benavidez in the center of the ring and try to box. But as soon as the bell rang in round 1, Anthony Yarde was on the back foot, man. And we're going to look at the CompuBox numbers. Yeah? We're going to check out the CompuBox numbers. I want to show you the output from Anthony Yarde, how low it was. Like, it's astonishing. It's a damning indictment on Tunde and Yarde on their game plan. Like, their output was so low. It's unbelievable, you know. At this level, this was Anthony Yarde's third title shot, third title fight, a third bite of the cherry that most fighters don't get. Most fighters will never get 3 bites at it. They get 1 bite and that's it. You'd be lucky to get 2, mate. Anthony Yarde got 3. Very fortunate to get 3 title fights. But he got it. And it seemed like they did not learn. Both trainer and fighter did not learn from the mistakes of the past, because the same flaws were there. In game management, in fight management from coach and fighter was non-existent. They just didn't know how to manage the fight at all. Anthony Yarde seemed like he did not believe in his shots. It seems like the right hand is not there no more for him, because he wasn't throwing it with no conviction whatsoever. And I'm an Anthony Yarde fan. You know, like I said, he's my boy. We grew up on the same block. We're both from Stratford. Knew him. I like Anthony Yarde. I was rooting for him to win. I predicted him to win. But when I'm delivering my post-fight analysis, I have to be honest, authentic. If I have to be brutal, I have to be brutal, man. Yeah. The most important thing is honesty, being honest, you know, because I do it for every other fighter. Every other fight, I'm brutal and honest about my breakdowns, my analysis, my post-fight reaction. I have to do the same thing for fighters that I like, for fighters that maybe I had a relationship with in the past or a friendship or whatever. I have to do the same, yeah? I can't be biased. I have to be unbiased in my when I do my reviews. Anthony Yarde, I really don't know where he goes from here, because that performance last night against David Benavidez, wow, my people. That was a total whitewash, man. He lost every single round. Like I said, his output was very low. David Benavidez, listen, I think I underestimated the guy. You know, I studied the tapes. I watched him. There was a lot of flaws. Even when he backs you up onto the ropes, David Benavidez, sometimes he's so wild with the punches, so wide. He leaves himself open in the middle for the counter. There was one occasion, maybe in the third round, where Anthony Yarde did use the shoulder roll, Mayweather-esque, and counter with a right. It did connect, but he didn't do that enough. The jab from Anthony Yarde, the jab wasn't accurate on the night from Anthony Yarde. He did throw some jabs, but he wasn't landing. To stop a pressure fighter like David Benavidez, your jab has to be on point. It has to be sharp. It has to be connecting, because you have to give David Benavidez something to think about. You have to hit him with something that will stop him in his tracks. That will say to him, listen, yo, I can't keep putting this pressure, because every time I come forward, I'm getting peppered here. I'm getting countered here. I'm getting punished. And slow him down. Not enough body shots from Yarde. The jab, like I said, he was throwing it, wasn't landing. The right hand, power punches. I don't think Anthony Yarde threw too many power punches in that fight whatsoever. You know, let's go into the CompuBox numbers, yeah? Let's look at the CompuBox numbers quickly. I'm going to flip my screen. Let's look from round one, David Benavidez. Round one, these are the total punches landed, thrown in round one, as you can see here right at the top, where my sensor is. David Benavidez in round one threw 34 punches to Anthony Yarde's 23. Benavidez landed 11 punches. Anthony Yarde landed 3. This is what I talk about, the accuracy on Anthony Yarde. He was throwing punches, but his landing, the accuracy just wasn't there. Round two, 44 punches thrown by Anthony Yarde, only landed 10. Look at the rounds here as they go. Look at Anthony Yarde's numbers across here. Look at Anthony Yarde's numbers. Look, in round 7, where he got stopped, he threw 17 punches, only landed 2. The accuracy wasn't there, man. You know, the ring IQ wasn't there. But look at David Benavidez, man. To be fair to David Benavidez, he went out there and delivered. Round 1, 11 punches. Look, as the rounds went on, David Benavidez' punch output is increasing and his accuracy is increasing. The 6th round, he fought 66 punches, and landed 33. Compare that to Anthony Yarde in the 6th round. Anthony Yarde threw 59, so 7 punches less than David Benavidez. But look how many Anthony Yarde landed. Only 13 punches landed in round 6, where he got dropped, I believe, in round 6, yeah? I think he got dropped or nearly got dropped. You know, nearly got stopped at a percentage rate of 22%. Accuracy. Look at David Benavidez, 50%. David Benavidez landing at a much higher rate. And as you go down, I talked about the jab. Let's look at the jabs from Anthony Yarde. Look, round 1, Anthony Yarde threw 14 jabs. He landed 0. That is a damning indictment, man. That is poor. Very poor, man, for Anthony Yarde. I mean, it's not like David Benavidez is hard to hit. He is not hard to hit. How you throw 14 punches and land 0? I mean, that's crazy. 0%. Look at that. The percentage landed of jabs in round 1 for Anthony Yarde, 0. Compare that to Benavidez. He threw 17, landed 4 jabs. And you can see as the rounds go on, Benavidez, the output of jabs and the accuracy is increasing. You know, we go down to the power punches. Anthony Yarde, if he was going to be successful in this fight, was going to be with his power punches. He had to throw something that will show David Benavidez, you know, give him some problems, you know, like make him think about stepping in, make him think about putting on the pressure, gain Yarde's respect. But the reason why Yarde wasn't successful in this fight, not only was his jab not on point in this fight, his power punches, the accuracy was very low. The output was very low. Now let's look. Round one, Anthony Yarde threw 9 power punches. He only landed 3, 33%. Round two, an increase in the output, an increase in the accuracy, landed 7. That's very low. 8 in round 3, 10, slight increase. It's like almost increasing by 1 or 2 power punches per round in landing in accuracy when he lands. In round 5, he threw 24 power punches and only landed 3. I mean, that's crazy. 12% accuracy. That is not championship level performance. If you want to win a title, I'm sorry, I have to be brutally honest, you cannot win landing 3 power punches, mate. Landing at the accuracy of 12%, you've got no chance whatsoever. You know, round 6, he threw 49, landed 13, 26%. And look at the round that when he got stopped. Yeah, the round where Anthony Yarde had to throw this kitchen sink. I mean, round 7, he was already done from round 6. But round 7, he had to come out and dog it out, you know, and deliver and you know, gain the respect of Benavidez and, you know, try and create some space. He couldn't. He threw 8 power punches, only landed 1. He probably had no effect on Benavidez. An accuracy of 12.5%. We go on the final punch stat report here. You know, Yarde threw a total of 308 punches. Yeah. 18 to the body, 58 up top, 18% total, 18.8% accuracy from Anthony Yarde. Yeah, that is not championship level. Yeah, if you look at the jabs, the numbers are there. Look at David Benavidez. Total punches to the body, look, 380, 32, 159 landed. To the top, jabs, 116 thrown, 12 landed to the body, 39 up top. Look at Anthony Yarde. The jab was going to be crucial in this fight. It was going to be vital. This is where it didn't work for Anthony Yarde. Overall, poor numbers from Anthony Yarde. Overall, the numbers were poor. He didn't perform at the level that he should have to be successful in that fight. It seems like the lessons of the past were not learned from both Tunde and Yarde. You know, they've had 2 bites of the cherry before this fight against Beterbiev, against Kovalev. They came up short. They got stopped. In this fight against David Benavidez, I think he took an even worse beating because at least against Beterbiev, against Kovalev, Yarde was competitive in there. He hurt both guys. He hurt Beterbiev. He hurt Kovalev. But against Benavidez, I don't think he even stung Benavidez. Like, Benavidez pulled a beat down from round 1 all the way to the stoppage in round 7. So Anthony Yarde has regressed from the previous title fights. Now, a lot of people are going to blame Tunde, blame the coach. Listen, I'm in agreement with that. I have to be honest, man. Personally, I don't know Tunde like that. I've seen him once or twice. We took pictures. He's a cool guy, great personality, good vibes. I'm not talking about the person here. I'm talking about the coach, the professional side. I think, you know, Anthony Yarde, I'm being brutally honest, Anthony Yarde could have even got a title. He could have won a title if he was with a better coach, a more elite coach than Tunde. You know, like, I'm just going to keep it real. But anyway, he's not going to change coaches right now. It's too late. He's 34 years of age, Anthony Yarde. He's been with Tunde forever. They're not going to change right now. Do you know what I mean? That's just me being brutally honest. But yeah, Anthony Yarde, lack of game plan, lack of tactics let him down in this fight. The accuracy was off. You know, I hear something about Anthony Yarde doesn't spar during training camp. I hope that's false because you have to spar. That's where you learn. You know, that's where you make mistakes. That's where you make corrections. That's where you make adjustments. Because when it comes to the real deal in a fight, because you've already been through the fire during sparring, you're ready. in that fight, you're ready, man. You're ready to make adjustments. You know, there was no adjustments made in this fight against David Benavidez, man. I'm just being brutally honest. I do really hope that Anthony Yarde does spar. If the rumors are true, he doesn't spar. That's shameful. That is shameful, man. You have to spar. That's what you learn, man. You know, and as a coach, I can't believe you don't let your fighters spar. They have to spar. They have to spar. I'm an amateur boxing coach, and in our gym, every single fighter has to spar. You have to spar. That's what you learn, man. Everything you do on the pads, all the footwork, you put it all together in sparring. And if you're making mistakes, that's when the coach corrects it. You know, Anthony Yarde, yeah, just overall poor performance. Shout out to David Benavidez, because he went out there. He absolutely put on a beatdown, man. Put on a beatdown on Anthony Yarde and stopped him. Do you know what I mean? He did show me that he's the animal, man. He's a monster. He's a beast. He's loco, whatever they call it in Spanish. You know, he's a crazy guy, man. And at the end of the fight, post-fight interview, he announced that he's going to go up. He's going to move up and fight Zodo Ramirez. Now, that's a video. That's another video that I'm going to drop later. We're going to talk about that, how Japata is getting ducked again. Interesting that David Benavidez is moving up. He's going to fight Zodo Ramirez on the 2nd of May. Mexican holiday and all that, Cinco de Mayo and all that. So that's going to be big in Mexico amongst the Mexican population in America. That's going to be a big fight for them. I'm gonna do another video for that. But for Anthony Yarde, where does he go from here? You know, what's next? 34 years of age, career a little bit mismanaged at times. You know, he had beef with Uncle Frank and all that. Kind of stole his career for a couple of years. The only thing left for Anthony Yarde really is the Joshua Buatsi fight. But even Joshua Buatsi, his last fight against Zach Parker, he looked terrible. So both fighters, the stock is down. You know, if this fight happened 2 or 3 years ago, there was some value in it. You know, the fans still had an appetite for it. But would the fans have an appetite for it now? I really don't think so. I don't think so, because both fighters are on the decline. They could have done maybe the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium once upon a time. They were both that big. Now, I think they'll struggle to fill up the O2. I'm just keeping it real. You know, so a lot of thinking for Anthony Yarde. Some people are saying, yo, he should retire. I don't think he should retire right now. I think he's got probably 1 or 2 more fights, but he can't keep taking damage because he took a beat down from David Benavidez. Sometimes that could be career changing. Sometimes for a fighter, it's better if you get knocked out. Just get knocked out. Do you know what I mean? One clean punch, you're knocked out, you wake up, you're good. But sometimes when you take a beat down for 7 rounds, that could be very detrimental to your career long term, or even after you hang up your gloves. You know, so for Anthony Yarde, I'm thinking to do, I don't think he changes coaches. I think he stays with Tunde until the very end. Until the very end. I know I've spoken to a lot of boxing fans. They're telling me, yo, Yarde needs to leave Tunde, but I think that's not going to happen. You can forget about it. But yeah, weird performance from Anthony Yarde. I expected a better performance from him. I expected him. Normally, he gives a good account of himself. In previous fights, title fights, he gave a good account of himself. In this one, I think he really let himself down. I'm just keeping it real. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, my people. What did you think of that fight? Where does Anthony Yarde go from here? David Benavidez, what a performance. I had to eat humble pie. He went in there, he did exactly what he had to do. But David Benavidez did what David Benavidez does. Do you know what I mean? He did a David Benavidez, man. Pressure, volume, accurate. Do you know what I mean? He put the business, he done the business, man, and stopped Yarde, man. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, my people. Overall, the whole card, I'm going to talk about the other fight as well. I think Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes was a cracking fight, great fight. The both fighters put on a hell of a performance. I don't think anyone's going to be queuing up to fight Sam Noakes after what they're saying. He lost, yes, by a wide margin in the scorecards, but he put up a hell of a performance. And Abdullah Mason, even though he won, he will know, yeah, he will be waking up this morning, wherever he is, knowing that he was in a real dogfight. He was in a dogfight because he was getting hit as well. So shout out to both guys. For me, that was fight of the night. Yeah, let me know in the thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, my people. Let me know how you thought the whole card went. I'm going to drop other videos as well on the Devin Haney versus Brian Norman. I'm going to drop a video on that as well. But yeah, this was just my fight reaction. You know, a tactical breakdown. I really wanted to look at the numbers and really take my time on it and really break down what went wrong for Anthony Yarde in these fights, as I just mentioned throughout the video. Do you know what I mean? But let me know your thoughts in the comments, my people. I really appreciate it. Once again, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. It's me, your boy Enzo, the realest in the game. Please don't forget to smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe because you're really going to help us to grow. I'll be back real soon with another one. Until then, stay blessed, my people. Peace.